in audio. In audio. In audio.
Here we are. What is going on, everybody? We're dealing with a little bit of technical issues, but looks like we're here. Looks like everything's working now. So, welcome to the podcast, Runs Forward Podcast. You guys know me, Loudmouth of the South, SAJ. Still recovering from our game on Friday. Voice has not quite returned. And that's what happens, season full of yelling and everything. But, anyways, this side of the screen, DJ, this is where you introduce yourself.
I'm DJ. We here. We back, I guess, man. How you feeling?
Um,
Start with that.
Truthfully, feel okay. I mean, am I pleased with the fact that, we didn't win again? No, not really. But all things considered, I gotta say that was a hell of a performance by our team.
It was.
That's the team I expected to see all season long. That's the way I expected our losses to go, right? That we were in it until the very end. Now, granted, yeah, that that last play, that last fumble, that was just a horrible, horrible mistake. Had it not been for that left, I believe it was the left tackle that pulled back
The
a
bo-
little too far.
the fumble before the half, right? The Hogan fumble before the half.
I think
Yeah, it
was
was
it
before
that
the
or
half. It
was
was
it?
he bumped into Willie Tyler and he fumbled and they scored before the half and it tied the game up. Yeah,
Yeah, that one right there. Had
yeah,
it not been for that play, I think it would have been okay. And I think that was really just kind of a misread on everybody's part. I don't think there's any one person that you can point fingers at and say, hey, this is this person's problem, whatever. But we'll get to that. I don't want to get too far ahead and get into the middle of our content when we just started the show.
right.
Overall, like I said, um, I feel good. I think the team performed well, much better than what was expected. I think everybody executed on a much higher level, thanks to Coach Party and company. Um, I think the crowd, considering there was, 9,000 tickets distributed, was extremely loud and rowdy, thanks to Milton Hope in part. Um, I think it was a great game. Again, sucks that we lost, but I feel good overall with it. Let me ask you the same question. How do you feel?
Um, hard fought battle, of course. I think we just let that one slip away, man. Like we had opportunities to take the lead, well, keep the lead at first, and then coming back. It was back and forth until the last drive of the game when when Hogan had fumbled. Well, not fumbled. I'm sorry, sacked on that last drive. He got sacked, and it was good into that last drive. But like we said earlier, minus that. I know we was gonna talk about it. You said we was gonna talk about it later, but minus that I know he said butt fumble 2.0. That's what it actually looked like. It wasn't a butt though, but it was a back fumble.
Definitely was. It was a big old back fumble.
Man, yeah, it looks like the defender had pushed him back more than what Hogan expected, and he
Mhm.
bumped into him, and then the ball came out. But man, back and forth. What a game by Jashawn Corbin, man. I'm glad he came out. That was his coming out game. Finally got
Oh,
the
yeah.
opportunity to show what he's capable of. Um, our special teams did okay returning the ball. I think we got to get better at special team defense. They let a lot of big runs happen. Um,
Mhm.
but overall, I think we had a good performance. Like I said, it could have been better. Every week we always say, it could have been better. The penalties was bad, of course. We probably one of the top penalized teams, if not like top three most penalized teams. Um,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
I think the D line played a lot better this game. They let a few runs get through, but they ain't nobody really go off really. But our offensive line played better though. I can't say that. We got to give it to the offensive line. They played better. The run game opened up. The holes as big as the daggone seas. Like they
Yeah.
was in the seas, man. It looked crazy. So the offensive line got better. I can't give nothing bad for the offensive line. Hogan did hold the ball a lot longer than he should have, but it could have been like the separation that our receivers was not getting. But overall, like you said, it was an okay performance. I didn't think that we was going to perform how we did this go around with DC. I really thought that DC was probably going to take the game over type of thing, but we stuck it in there. And now, if we had this effort playing the rest of the games that we played, like you said, the outcome could have been different. But I hate that we just like came to play this game and like the other previous games, it didn't look like that. So
No, I 100% agree. So the one thing that I think is worth noting here, you talked about how our defensive line did fairly well overall, except for a couple of situations. I think part of the problem is that we probably prepared for Smith, right? Who's kind of their
yeah,
star
Abram
running
Smith,
back.
yeah,
Yeah. And they ran Dion Jackson
Jackson, yep,
10 times, 45 yards total, which is not bad. I
it's
mean,
not bad, yeah,
there's a big chunk in one play, which was 15 yards. You take that 15 yarder away, he's not averaging 4.5 yards anymore. He's averaging about 2, right? Um, so I think overall our offensive line, or I'm sorry, our defensive line did much better than what was expected. Um, and it was partly because our offense was on the field more, right? So our defense had an opportunity to actually rest and kind of see what, the trends that DC's offense are going with. So you kind of know, whether to run man or zone or, inside coverage or whatever the case may be. You look for those trends, and you can't do that. You can't track real time data when your defense is on the field the whole entire time. You know what I mean?
right,
It's too
right,
hard to relay messages and say, hey, look, on 3rd and 2, this is what they're going to run. So we play that when it's always 3rd and 2. You know what I mean?
right.
So um, I do think overall that everything looked pretty good. I saw a couple of people commenting on how we didn't do. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Hi, hun. Right? Got to make sure I say hi to Sleepy. Um, and I saw people kind of. I don't want to say jumping on the negative bandwagon, but there were some comments that are like, we told you guys this team is trash, blah blah blah, and that's kind of a gross exaggeration. But just work with me here. Um, I think it's important to note that for the struggles that we did have, Hogan did a great job.
He did.
Yeah, he held a little bit too long. There were a couple. Pardon
Yeah,
me, there were a couple of times where he had to scramble because the play didn't break down the way we thought it would. I absolutely love that clip that the UFL showed with the defensive coordinator because
yeah,
Petey and I were there and we didn't hear that because you can't hear them. I mean, they're far enough away that you can't actually hear
yeah,
what they're saying.
right.
You can hear us yelling in the background because, of course, we're jerks like that. But if I would have known that the DC defensive coordinator was going to say, "Hey, don't worry about Hogan. He's old. He's going to do this in a pressure situation," I would have laughed my fool head off. Right?
Yeah,
Because
that
100.
was funny.
I mean, and I love that they showed that because you can't count anybody out in this league. Now, granted, yeah, he wasn't necessarily off to the races per se, but he turned in some good positive yardage on that play, and it was like you counted us out, and you shouldn't have. And I wish it would have led to a touchdown. And, I mean, that whole series did. But that one play, I would have loved to have seen it go to a touchdown. So we could have just
32.
been messaging DC and been like, oh, count us out again, fools. Right? Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think the announcer had said, "Oh, he's 33." I mean, the defensive coordinator said he's 33. He's old. He did it. I'm like, then they said on the broadcast, "Well, he's actually 32, and that's why he did what he did to y'all." That was funny.
yeah. Well, and
That was funny.
even then, right? 32, 33 doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
don't think 1 year at this level is going to make that much of a difference. And I mean, heck, Aaron Rodgers is 40 and he can still scramble.
Yeah.
He doesn't scramble great, but he scrambles enough that he can get positive yardage. And it's not like he's a superior threat. I mean, he's not going to be like a Michael Vick or anything like that or Patrick Mahomes. But Hogan can still run.
Right.
So you still have to take that into consideration. So defenses, go ahead and count them out. Let them break off 6, 7 yards on you, right? That's going to put us in a good situation to keep converting and keep pushing forward. And that's what I loved about that is that fire that everybody had this weekend.
He fought, man. He fought harder than I expected. And I remember, man, last year we was all on here, man. Like put Hogan in the game, put Hogan in the game, And that's our guy, man. No matter the ups or the downs, we always gonna rock with Hogan, man. We always gonna rock with Hogan. I'm glad he fought back, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I just when I was initially talking, now I'm thinking back and I'm like, you know what? We had the opportunity to try to come back, man. When you watch that play that Hogan did to Stevenson, Speedy, across the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the field, that shot that he threw, man, for the first down too. It was like 3rd and long, and he made that first down. Then Speedy had fumbled, trying to get extra yardage. We was all in our section like he should have went down, man. Why he ain't go
Yep.
down? Why he ain't go
Yep.
down? And that was a beautiful pass, man. So I'm with Havo on this, man. Like let him stay, let him work with the ones more. Let him get the reps that he need. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. He gave us the best chance, and even with him starting or coming in as late as he have in the season, he still looks better than what we've seen all year. Like as far as any quarterback, in total, I know Garantano haven't had a lot of reps and a lot of playing with the offense, but I still would take Kevin Hogan, man. He looks good, man. And even like I said, our section was saying how good he has looked, and
Mhm.
he giving us the opportunity,
Now,
man. 32 running like that, hey, I'll take it any
mm,
day.
now I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay,
Okay. So
okay,
please forgive me.
talk to me.
But I think there's something to be said about Kellen Mond at quarterback. Is he ready right now? No. But look at the stats. The stats don't lie. Week 6, he was top 5 quarterback. Now, granted, you've got some teams that rotate quarterbacks a lot, but he's up in the ranks with Tamu or he was Tamu and Perez
It's the passing yardage,
and
right?
right 500 and something passing yards in week 6 when he didn't even play. He was still number 5. Okay, is Mond our guy right now? Probably not. There's probably still some things that need to develop, right? First of all, we have to figure out what his playing style is, what he's comfortable with. Is he an air raid guy? Is he an RPO guy? Like, what is his comfort level? Secondly, we've got to get him an offensive line to be able to hold for him, right? So he can do what he needs to do in the backfield.
It's the same
Um,
guys though. It's the same guys that Hogan got.
it's it's not
Who's
okay.
different?
We switched out a guard and we brought in some of our second stringers to bolster uh, that
Okay.
offensive line because we were struggling. I'd have to go back and look and see who all was there, but I know I saw different numbers
I
this
mean,
week than what was normally there.
even still, that says a lot because the first stringers wasn't working, so the second stringers came in. If you're a second
Sometimes
stringer, obviously you were picked second to somebody, and now you coming in and playing better than the first stringer. So and Hogan
true,
is working with them guys, so
true,
that
but
says a lot.
look at look at the Hogan situation. Hogan was a number 3 quarterback. Almost, I mean, the way things were going, it almost looked like he might not even play at all, right? And now he's our QB1 over
Our
Kellen
offense,
Mond, who was supposed to be.
our
You know,
offensive style of play isn't for a pocket passer, man. And I think Kellen Mond was too focused on it. Like he didn't run as much as I thought that he would run. Like as I seen him in at A&M, as I seen him in the NFL, like he hasn't run as we know him to run. The RPO game was not there, and I keep saying this every week, and I'm like, the style of play that we playing against from the offensive side from the other teams, that's what we should be doing. Like they was killing us with them damn RPO slants every time. And every time, literally in our section, I'm like, bro, they doing the same plays over and over and over. RPO slant, RPO, they open, bro. 14, Powell, I think his name Powell for DC was eating. He was eating. Mm-hmm. The tight end was eating. Like, and I'm like, the same plays across the middle. And I think they had one play that was like a busted play that, and I will give them that. And like there was a good play call, and it was when it was one of the linemen caught the pass, the touchdown, number 74 or something like that. He caught a touchdown, and that was the only play that I was like, okay, I'll give you that because nobody knew that was coming. But you know, as a DC, you should be prepared for anything, especially if that guy had a report as eligible, so you should have known that he was going to do something. Like he was going. Just keep an eye on him, but he was wide open in the back of the end zone. But that was a good play call. But besides that, man, like I think we should run more of an RPO type of style of offense. Like it's the pocket passing stuff doesn't work, man. And then as you know in NFL, that's evolving into more of a running style quarterback. You have to be able to run. You have to get out of the pocket, man. The game is speeding up. These guys are too fast. Like you can't really just sit back there in the pocket and pass the ball, man. Like you got to run. And I would, like I said, I expected Kellen to run more than he did. But then you look at Hogan, man. Like he's out there taking off, like as you should.
So BD and I actually talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually, probably a couple of months ago during the NFL season in relation to how that game is evolving. You notice you don't see any halfbacks hardly anymore. Like nobody's really using a halfback, and the running back is becoming more of a running back tight end type situation, right? For those RPOs, your tight end is a blocker 90% of the time, right? The tight end is no longer really that dump off option. They're more of a hit, and I mean they're a dump off option, but it's more 10, 15 yards forward. After they make their block, they scramble out. The the running backs, if they don't get the ball, they're scrambling out for the 5-yard dump offs. The game is evolving to a whole different game. So the old school stuff that like I'm used to, that like Wade Phillips probably would be a little bit more akin to, with the older style defense, that's going by the wayside. We need to evolve with that also, because it seems like the play style that we're using is that older play style, and defenses are eating that crap up, right? Again, as you said, you don't have that kind of time in the pocket for your quarterback to drop back and set, read the field 3-4 seconds. You don't have it. You've got 2 at maximum now.
It's a reason why these guys are where they are, right? And I mean, everybody has flaws, but there's a reason why this league is what it is, and these linemen are where they are, right? And they trying to work their way up to the next level. But when you think about the air raid, AJ, and I think Mike have mentioned this, AJ runs an air raid offense, meaning that it's pass heavy, right? So if it's a pass heavy offense and he calls the plays, my thing would be okay. If it's not open and it's not there, receiver's not getting separation, bro, run the ball. Look more like, I guess, make it look like you doing more than one thing. Look multi-dimensional. Like look like you can run when you need to. If it's there in the passing game, take it. If you need to run. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen from Kellen Mond. And now maybe he takes some time and adjusts, and maybe I said something early on in the season that people didn't like, but I'm like, maybe he was making a business decision. You know what I'm saying? But when I talked to him in person, when we talked about, last year in our championship game, he was like, he don't know why such and such did that. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say no names, but he was like, I don't know why such and such did that. Yeah. I don't know why such and such did that. He should have, blase. But I'm like, I'm looking at you in the game, and I'm like, I don't see the similarities. Like you can't tell me one thing or, talk about one
Yeah.
thing and then you do something totally different in the game, type of thing.
Yeah. No, I see the similarities as he who shall not be named, but I think
That's
it's
my point.
more
Yeah, that's what I meant
right.
to say. Yeah.
Right. I think it's maybe less a business decision because he who shall not be named did kind of take over the helm and led the team from the front until that championship game where he laid down to protect his business interests. I don't think Mond is doing that here. I think he doesn't have the relationship and he doesn't have the timing. Somebody said it earlier. I can't remember exactly who it was, um, but there's no relationship with the offensive line, right? The guards, the tackles, maybe a little bit of a relationship with the center because they seem to somewhat have their timing pretty figured out. Um, but outside of that, there's no real connection. There was no connection with the wide receivers. I'm not going to bash the guy, but when we saw the win in DC, he was off with his own uh, group, posse, support network, whatever you want to call it. All the rest of the guys came out and were visiting with their family. Even Coach Party came out and talked to us. We happened to walk by Mond, and it was like, "Oh, hey, it's Mond," and he was like, "Hey, thanks for coming out and supporting us," and then went back to paying attention to his group. But everybody else was like running to us. I picked Jay Will. I'm going to say it. Okay, pardon me, kids. Cover your ears. I picked Jay Will's big ass up. I literally lifted him off the ground. I was so stoked, and he was like, "Oh my god, I hurt," because he just got done playing football, right? But I mean, they were that excited and that passionate and that fired up. You would think that he would be in the trenches with his guys, and he was kind of on his own. Now I don't know if that's self-imposed or if it's maybe the team is kind of like, I don't know about you, man. Right? So I don't know where that disconnect is coming from, but there definitely is a disconnect there, and I think um, if he's going to be the guy of the future, right? Because I don't know if Hogan's going to stick around for another, 3-4 years.
I don't see why not.
I don't necessarily see why not either. But also on the same token, I mean, there is a lifespan here for a football player. Most of them don't make it this long. Um, Now that he's experienced some success and everything, um, who knows? I mean, does he come back? If he comes back, he's got to be QB1 because he's got the relationship with a lot of these guys. But if he's not, this is where Mond is going to need to step up and back to something Sabrina had said and a lot of other people had said as well. I think we need a little bit more time, like an actual preseason. I don't think 4 weeks is necessarily enough. And I don't even know that in that 4 weeks that they were doing a lot of not just practicing on the field, but actual team building opportunities.
But we can't really say that, right? I hear you, but we really can't say that because on the flip side, you have teams that's doing the same things we doing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make it work. You have to figure out ways to make it work, and we can't really use that. And this goes back to what I said last week, right? Because everybody has the same amount of time, right? And
Huh?
it's all about how you improve as a team. So if we and this was back, I think when I said that week 4, like I'm like we 4 weeks in, and you see teams getting better, and then you see teams falling by the wayside, right? And we one of those teams that's falling by the wayside. And I said it also, like, is it a lack of leadership? Maybe the defensive side has that leadership. I mean, if I can say, like, from just watching the game and just seeing, the mannerisms from different players and stuff, like the defense, like it's totally different if you look at the defensive side and the offensive side. For me, like the defensive guys, they all, man, celebrate. They all trying to pump the crowd up. They all show the charisma. Like, and then when you look at the offensive side, you got Kellen Mond. When I've watched them play and they show it on TV, like you said, like he literally goes over to the bench by himself. I don't ever see him trying to, rally the troops. I don't ever see him trying to talk his guys up. Like, that's the type of leader that you need, especially in a league like this, because everybody's trying to work for something. Everybody's trying to get to the next level. Now, I don't know the guy personally, so I really can't talk too much of the type of person that he is. But I mean, if I'm being honest, like he might not be that type of leader that's a vocal leader. Like he might be more so like, he let his actions speak louder than his words, and he want to show it on the field, which is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But on the flip side, you have to be able to show us something on the field. And I don't see that. Like, are you putting the team on your back for us to get this W? Like, are you throwing yourself out there and making tough plays? Are you making these extra yards? Like, are you getting these extra yardages? If you see the play breakdown, are you taking it upon yourself to scramble and get that first down? Like those type of things. Man, I can literally count on my hand how many times I've seen Kellen Mond scramble when he was at quarterback. That's just being honest. Maybe maybe y'all seen more, but I can literally count on one hand how many times I've seen him scramble.
So
So
without going too far back into his history, because I didn't watch him at A&M, you'd have to ask guys like Chris or BD, the guys that are the A&M fans. But I don't remember him being that big of a mobile quarterback. He's run when he's had to, but for the most part, he's a pocket passer. We're not in a pocket passer offense.
right.
AJ was an air raid guy. I mean, you saw that. So, the air raid offense is going to play one side of the field or the other, trying to look for those mismatches. And that pocket is going to pull more to the side. So you can get those clear lanes deeper downfield. Basically, it opens up the center of the field. Well, with that being the case, the quarterback has to know to be able to run if that happens,
Yeah.
right? Um, so in this situation, there's a couple of things going on that I've got going in my head right now. So forgive me, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. But I
Cool.
think again with Mond, it's more he's used to being in that pocket, with that protection, whether it's pushing, back like a wedge or around to the sides or whatever, and having those opportunities for the short dump offs or the deeper passes downfield. Now, let's go back to Mond real quick because Chris's comment is kind of important. And again, I want to make sure that I clarify this. I'm not bashing the guy. I can only talk about what I've seen. I don't know what's going on in his
Right.
head. I don't know
Just
about the
football related
relationships
on the
or anything
field.
like that. But we have been at every single game. There's one game I'm going to be missing this season, and it's the second St. Louis game, and I feel bad about it, but I've got family conflicts, and
Man,
I love
good.
I
That's
love
good.
my UFL family, but my babies come first, right? So my middle child just moved up in her soccer team to a higher level, and immediately has a tournament that weekend. So I'm taking her to go do that. But my heart is going to be with you guys in St. Louis. So represent us well. But going back to that first St. Louis game, going to the DC game, all of that stuff. Kellen Mond would go out there, he'd do his thing, and things would fall apart, and he'd sit back down. He'd go out on the field, do his thing, and things would fall apart, and he'd come and sit back down.
That's a good point.
Hogan is going and talking to everybody and interacting and keeping that exchange of information going. It's kind of the difference between the two quarterbacks. Just like, we saw Wade Phillips sitting down in St. Louis, and we knew something was off there when we saw that, right? We knew something was off when Kellen Mond was going out on the field and then coming back and sitting down. Yeah, he's looking at the iPad, things like that, but he's not talking to the receivers and he's not asking them what they're seeing or how things are going. Um, that relationship just kind of is not there. And at the quarterback position, you need a field general. We talked about he who shall not be named and how he kind of stepped into that position and immediately took over,
He
right?
did. He did. That's the best
That's what
thing I like
Hogan,
about him.
yeah, that's what Hogan is doing now. That's what needs to be done at the quarterback position. You don't see a guy like Tamu going and sitting down and waiting for people to come and talk to him or burying his nose in the tablet and not getting feedback from his offensive linemen, his receivers, his running back, right? His offensive coordinator. Um, these guys are constantly, hey, what did you see? What did I miss out there? What's going on? I noticed, you were 3 steps off. I planned on you being here. What happened? Did I throw too early? Did you miss a step? What's going on? Hakeem Butler, perfect example. When he was talking to his quarterback, he was like, "Hey man, I screwed up. I missed that pass." And the quarterback was like, "No, no, no. I screwed up. I will get you the ball. You just tell me where you're going to be." And Hakeem
Man,
said, "Next play, put it in my hands, and
being
I'm
a
I'm
leader,
taking it to the house." And he did, right?
being a leader and a trust.
Yeah, it's that relationship, it's that trust, it's that communication. And it starts with talking, right? I'm not saying that Monda's a bad quarterback. I'm not bashing the guy. The guy's gotten farther in football than I ever
Absolutely
will in
not.
3 lifetimes,
So that's a
right?
disclaimer. We're not talking no crazy junk about him. We just
Right,
talking just football and what we've seen.
right. Again, he's gotten farther in football than I would be able to in 3 different lives. Okay? So, not bashing the guy in any way, shape, or form, but there is something missing there. And I don't know if it's on him. I don't know if it's with the team. I don't know what's going on, but I do know something's missing there, and it shows on the field, right? We put Hogan at the helm, and we go up against our number one adversary. Well, our only win that we had this season. And the expectation was that we were probably going to get trounced, right? Because this was going to be a payback win for DC. And they didn't beat us nearly as badly as at least what I thought was going to happen, you know? And so, again, just really surprised with the overall effort of the team.
Throw
I
Jackie a
think,
comment up there. She made a good it was a good that's good too. He might need we also got to add that level of like that point as well too, because some players are coached different. They like to be coached different. Like some players
mhm.
are, they along for the ride. They cool. They good. Like they don't have to worry about that. Man, some guys you got to put a fire up their ass. So maybe he wasn't getting the correct coaching. I mean, you just never know, man. It could be it. But what Jackie said, I think I would agree with this. Like, and only because some people might think, okay, this is a developmental league or however you want to call it, whatever type of league y'all want to name it. But they might think that, this always going to be here for me. You know what I'm saying? I could do whatever I want to do. They always going to bring me back,
Mhm.
type of thing. And they are familiar names now that they've been here for what, 3 seasons or whatever. Like, those are familiar names. Like we know Alizé Mack, we know John J. Kirkland, we know Justin Smith, we know Stevenson, we know Jay Will, Vontae
Mhm.
Beckett. Like we know those guys, them the core guys, And those guys are cool. John Trey here and there, he ain't been, like Chris I think said earlier, he ain't been the same. It's looking a little different for him. But
Yeah.
but guys like that show us every week that they're gonna play hard regardless. Like a McFarland, you know what I'm saying? He hurt right now, I think, but still, like a Justin Smith, he haven't got the opportunities that he could have gotten from the start of the season. He didn't start maybe if like a few games into the season, and I'm like, why isn't Justin Smith starting? And I see they had Jacob on one side, John Trey on the other side. Man, when John Trey started dropping the passes, put Justin in. Speedy,
Yeah.
I think Speedy's a good punt and kick returner, but I would like to see him more in the passing game. I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see why he's not in the passing game more. Like we can put McFarland and put Jashawn back there. Well, they the running back, so I mean, I don't know. Shit, I think Jacob could run a full. I think he said he run like a 4-3-4-4. Shit, put him at the kick return. So he might be tall, but if anything, man, we need the
Yeah.
speed back there. But we need to utilize the players where they need to be on the field, where they needed at the field on the field. And sometimes, we look at it like, these guys, maybe too comfortable. That might be just what it is. They just may be too comfortable, and maybe they
Mhm.
need to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe making room for other guys. Like Rashad Henry made a good play on Friday. At the last game, so he looked good. Jashad Corbin getting this is first year with us. He looking good. Um,
Well,
who's
and
that?
we picked up that new receiver
Yeah,
from
Henry, Rashad Henry,
was
number
that
81.
Henry?
Yeah, 81.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
1 reception, 10 yards.
but he made a pivotal catch and one and
Huh.
he haven't had not one catch all year, and it was a good catch for a first down. So I
Well,
was like,
he had a couple. He had a couple. I mean, he came with some yardage, a couple of
yeah,
receptions, but he has been on the IR for a while, right? Uh, so you're right. I mean, I I do think that there is something to be said
Oh,
about the
Stilianos.
guys. Yeah,
Stilianos, the tight end,
Giuliano's
came
new
in. He
player.
played good. Yeah.
He's killing it. 5 receptions, 46 yards. His longest was 14.
He had a touchdown, right?
Um, he
Or
did
he
have
had
one, buddy.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
right
yeah,
here.
Iowa guy. There you go. Damn, I didn't even know he was from Iowa. There you go. Iowa guy. Iowa
Well, Chris
breeds
is.
tight ends.
Oh, oh yeah, and Chris is definitely going to know college football is his thing. So, um, I think we have the makings. Like if we would have started this team, the configuration that it is right now, and had these players in place, I think we'd be having a different conversation right now. I think we'd be talking about who we need to make sure that we eliminate to get us into that championship or the XFL conference championship game, rather than now us talking about whose season are we going to ruin, which I hope is St. Louis, guys, and I hope you're watching. Right, that's the only thing I ask this year: ruin St. Louis's chance. Okay, and my St. Louis friends, I love you guys to death. It's not you that I hate. It's the team, and it's some of those rowdy fans that ain't got no business going to a football game. So just so you understand. But if we would have started this configuration, I have a much stronger feeling that we would probably be about 4 wins right now, honestly. So we'd probably be about 4-3, maybe 5-2, somewhere like that, you know? Uh, but let's talk about one of the reasons why we're not there. And it isn't just the players or the configuration, right? We're also faced with a huge coaching challenge. And that's with AJ wanting to do one thing and it not matching up with what coach wanted. Okay. And then coach's issues that we still don't 100% know what's going on. We just know that he needed to take a leave of absence for a while. Um, I know there's some rumors and speculations out there, and we're not going to comment on any of that because, again, we don't know the facts, and I'm not going to spread rumors about it. But we know Coach needed to take a leave of absence, and since that leave of absence, we've seen him twice at the Dome, and he's looked a little bit better. Okay, um, and Brahma Babe, I all due respect, I disagree with you on this because technically every game is an away game. These folks don't practice in San Antonio. They have the home field advantage when they play here, granted. But um
Well, I
and
mean,
and Rick,
I'm on the
love
fence
it.
with that. I'm on the fence with that. I get you. I get both sides, right? I get you. Every game is a home as a away game only because the hub is in Arlington and everybody's traveling
Right.
to the game. Got it. It's a different feel, and I'm on the side with her as far as it's a different feel when you playing in front of your crowd and your fans. You're gonna play
Yeah.
harder for your fans, and it helps on defense. You
Well,
have a loud fan base. Now, if you're talking about like Memphis, if we was a Memphis podcast talking about that, then I'd be like, nah, I wholeheartedly disagree because that ain't got
yeah.
no Memphis and Birmingham shit. They've been winning, but I mean, like they ain't got no fans. But 4,000 showed up or something like that, man. Come on, man. Like
Yeah.
that's disrespectful. So it
Yeah.
depends
Or
what
like
you're talking about. It depends what you're talking about.
Houston, who is
Yeah,
having a winning season and fans still
nobody
aren't
showed
showing
up.
up.
Yeah.
So, but on the same token, I think it's important. You talk about that home field advantage. Houston came in and stomped the hell out of us, 27-3. And we had a bunch of fans there, and it didn't make a difference. You know, so that's why I'm saying sometimes that home field advantage is nice, but sometimes it doesn't make a difference when you don't have that support and you don't have that connection, right?
So so let me say this about the coaches, right? And I hate to do this, right? But I mean, I got to be honest, and this is just how I feel, right? Coaches play a pivotal part in game planning, getting the guys ready, being that leader, bringing the energy, the motivation. Like I get that. They play a big part in that. But what I can say is it's not the end all be all, right? Because you really want to have a player led locker room, in my opinion, because you playing for your guys, you playing for the guys that's on the field with you, you playing for the guys that's next to you, you know what I'm saying, or across from you if you were in practice and you're going against the defense, like you playing for those guys. So I think that means more than actually having a coach that's just going to yell and motivate you and all that other stuff. It's cool, but it's always good to have the guys around. You always want to play for your guys. So um, changing coaches, I get it. It puts a big hole in the team. But if you have a player led team, I don't think it affect as much. Um, offensive coordinators, I get it because you got an offensive guy that's installed their offense in the team, and they leave, and now you have to figure out how you're going to install your stuff, but at the same time, it's too late to do a whole new install midway through the season type of thing. So I get that. Head coach leaving. DC had head coach leaving, and they ain't really have a fall off. If anything, it's just us in Memphis that's dealing with that type of head coaching fall off. Same with the DC with the installs and stuff like that. I get that. But at the end of the day, man, everybody's going through the same thing. Everybody has ups and downs. It's all about what you do with it, man. To be honest, it's just all about what you do with it. How do you bounce back from, the stuff that happens, negatively towards the team. So that's just how I feel.
I think you bring up an important point because there's another factor that I know Coach Tom from Texans Talking Football and I had a conversation about this last week and the week before. How do you build that chemistry? How do you build that consistency in a league that is meant to be a transient league at best?
Let me tell you
Most of these
how.
guys, huh?
Let me tell you how. You do things off schedule, meaning if you're a quarterback like Kellen Mond coming in, why aren't you? If you know who's going to be in your in your wide receiving core and you throwing to, why don't you do off the field and off schedule training or throwing? Like you can always go to a field and connect with your guys. Like y'all about to go into. That's what Luis Perez did. They
Yeah.
said that, like, he went out with his guys. He knew that was who was going to be there. He went out with his wide receivers and he was throwing with them, like building that connection before the season. Now, did he do that? I don't know. Like nobody knows because nothing was said about it. But I'm just adding that tidbit because that's how you build that. Because obviously, we get a month of training camp, so you have to do things outside of training camp. Stay late after practice, work out with your guys, throw with your guys, right? On the weekends, go to the field, throw with your guys, right?
Right there.
So it's
Right there.
always other things that you can do other than just following the schedule, training schedule, and then when you get, what are you doing after practice? Just going back to the room and chill, go out and party, and I've seen the guys do that, like the receivers, they go live on Instagram, they at the bar and all that other stuff, and that's cool. I'm not mad at that. But when your play on the field doesn't show that you out here working hard and putting in the extra work, that says a lot, man. That says a
Mhm.
lot about the mentality. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But back to what you were saying.
You 100% commented exactly what I needed you to say. This is a transient league. Most of these guys are here for a temporary amount of time. Their objective is to either hone their skills or to resharpen their skills so they can get to the big show. Okay. But the season starts at that first day of training camp, and you're a quarterback, you've got receivers, five, six, seven, eight receivers. It doesn't take but one conversation. Hey guys, I don't know who's going to make the roster and who's not, but let's improve our chances. We've got some free time. Today's our off day. Let's go run routes. Let's go run reps. I need the quarterback snaps. You guys need the receptions. Simple routes, right? Post routes, out and backs, whatever. It doesn't matter. However you want to mix it up,
Build a
get
chemistry.
that timing, get that chemistry. And that's how you do it in a transitional league, even if those guys aren't going to be there or you're not going to be there. somebody's going to benefit from that practice, and it's an additional practice. So take a playbook or take a play from Luis Perez's book. Get out there and put in that extra work. Now you knew Perez was going to be there,
Right.
but I'm sure he didn't know at that point who his receivers were. Maybe Canella, he knew Canella was going to be there, obviously. Um, but a couple of the other guys he probably didn't know. So put that work in, get those connections. That way, when the season does start and you know who your receivers are, you know where they're going to be when you need them to be there,
But
right?
this is a call. Call like, okay, are you coming back? Yeah or no? You know what I'm saying? And then we could connect after that. But I mean, leading up to the season, you have numerous opportunities. You just got to make the most of your opportunity.
Yep.
So
So going back to that part right there, making the most of your opportunities, I do think it's worth saying that we made the most of our opportunities this week. I think Hogan did a pretty good job, all things considered. I think Coach Party called a pretty solid game. There were
yeah,
just a couple of things that went against us. Butt fumble 2.0 obviously did not work out. Um, there was also the eligible receiver downfield uh, that we kind of didn't account for. Like nobody expected an offensive lineman to be, being available for a pass. That did not help us at all. Um, like we're the only team that's supposed to be able to run a thick six, and somebody paid attention last year and modified it a little bit and used it against us, and that's fine. That's what the game is. But again, a couple of blown opportunities that were key opportunities that had we capitalized on them, we've had another win in the column, right? Um, so going forward, this week we've got Memphis, and I hate to say it this way, but this is kind of the battle for uh, arguably, who's the worst in the UFL.
it's the toilet bowl.
Yeah, this is the toilet bowl game, and I'm bummed because our friend the boatsman will not be here at this game. I was looking forward to him being there. That's the guy that's in the full. That looks like he should be playing,
Yeah.
and but he's not. He's an old fart like me. But I was looking forward to seeing him. He's not going to be able to be there, but I do believe some of our other friends from Memphis might make the journey. I hope they bring plenty of water because obviously we're going through like just this insanely crazy heat spell. So anybody that's hanging out tailgating, by the way, if any of you guys are going to the dome this Saturday,
Drink a lot of water.
Friday to tailgate and everything, please make sure you stay hydrated because we're going to have ridiculously crazy high temperatures for it only being May and high humidity levels, and I mean it's going to sap your hydration levels very quickly, and you could have a situation. So please be responsible, stay hydrated, have fun. Don't go crazy. Don't hurt yourselves. It's not worth it.
Or
Okay.
in Chris terms, this is the Alamo Basement Bowl.
Alamo Basement Bowl. I like that. Um, But so obviously, we need to talk about our weekly picks. And I really don't want to talk about this because I thought for sure I was going 4-0 this week. That did not work out. I think a lot of us got surprised this week. But let's go ahead and share what we've got going on here with our weekly picks and everything. I feel really bad. Let me see if I can maximize this. Okay. So here we are with this week's weekly picks. Okay. Leading is that guy, BD. I don't know how. He must be cheating. He's like looking ahead at the script, something like that. I don't know what's going on. DJ obviously is in a very strong contention for second place. One or two bad picks, and he'll overtake BD very, very quickly. Uh, and then Jorge and I are dead locked in for the middle. And
Jackie, you
210, but
need
I'm a
help with your picks, Jackie.
yeah. I mean,
She
her picks are working when they work, and when they don't work, at least she can walk away with a guilt-free conscience. That's for sure. So, but yeah, so that's our standings right now on our picks. Here's what we're looking at for this week. Okay. Uh, we've got a little bit of a split house. on Memphis and San Antonio. Looks like the consensus is 3-2 on San Antonio, and you and Jorge are picking Memphis. Uh, what is motivating you to pick Memphis for this game?
um, you know, I'm still on my wave, man. Make me pick you. That's what I'm at.
Okay,
Make me pick you.
understandable. And I'm kind of on the opposite side of that wave. I think based on our performance last week against one of the strongest teams in the UFL, and we didn't get completely blown out, I think we have a really good chance to turn the tide here. Now, it's not going to help anybody, but it's also not going to hurt anybody. So I think this is kind of an inconsequential game, and I think we're actually going to show up for it. We should be able to get the win, but it should be a great game. It should be a very fun, entertaining game. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we're all picking Michigan. And I think a lot of that. What is your motivation for picking Michigan on that?
Um, I just think they're the better team, man. The better team. Bryce Perkins been cooking, and he doing his thing, man. And Houston, the way that Houston lost this past weekend, I ain't look. I can't trust them, man. They shit the bed. They shit the bed so bad.
They did.
So
They did. They did. They had a chance to win that game and they let it slip through their fingers. I also think, though, based on Michigan's performance last week against Arlington, um, that's going to give them the motivation that they need to take this game against Houston. I see Michigan being in the playoffs for sure, just the way they are.
mm,
Um, now, this next week, I feel bad. I had to pick between one of two teams I didn't like. I went with St. Louis just because they've been fairly consistent, and Michigan, Birmingham has been a little bit of a roller coaster. Yeah, granted, they beat Houston, but they struggled against Houston, and Houston is a hot or cold team. You know, we look back at some of the other games, Birmingham lost to Memphis, you know, and so they're inconsistent, and so I don't think there's enough there for me to be able to believe that they're going to pull this game off. Plus, if I remember correctly, this game is going to be in St. Louis, so you are going to have that 20,000 plus home crowd. That's going to make things very, very difficult. And I should have taken the refs. I want to throw this comment up here. Uh, but yeah, 100%. Although, Chris, I do have to say I hate Birmingham just a little bit less after having gone there and met some of the fans. The fans, they're a respectable group. I can respect them. So, now I just hate the team. But that's about it. And then uh, DC, I'm, going off the reservation here. I know DC is strong, but I got to believe that after Arlington lost to Michigan, they're going to be coming back with a vengeance, and they're going to be looking for some blood. And this game matters to them. So I think that Arlington's going to pull off the upset here.
you say that every time you
So,
pick Arlington.
well, I mean, I have to, because it's Arlington, and I don't want to pick them, but I don't hate them nearly as much as Jorge does. So, but I do love me some DC. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that Arlington is going to pull this one off. So here's the show times. Obviously, if you can't make it to the game, make sure that you're watching it. Okay. But our game is Friday at 7 p.m. Try and make sure that you make it to the game. And the rest of the week, make sure that you're at a sports bar. Um, hey, stop, John. I was going to get to that guy. I'm not even going to post that comment now. Um, But make sure you're watching the rest of the games this weekend, right? There's going to be some really good games that are going to make a difference. I mean, you've got two playoff implication games for sure in the Michigan Houston game and the Arlington DC game. Um, and then that Stallions Battlehawks game should just be really good in general. Okay. And I think that's it for the presentation. Yeah, that's the fourth screen. So Now just back to us. There you go. So, being that you saw I was giving John a hard time, you already showed this comment, or somebody showed this comment, and John, totally understand. But for you guys that maybe don't know, if you haven't seen your email already, season ticket members, the renewal drive is on for 2026. I can tell you that everybody in the podcast has already contacted their ticket rep and has been working out the details to renew their season tickets. I have a very strong feeling about next year. We've learned some. The rankings. We already did the rankings.
So power rankings.
Yeah, I thought we did the. Did we not do the power rankings?
No, but it's on the page.
Okay, let me bring up the power rankings because you guys always have such good debates about these things.
BD not even here.
Care. BD's not even here. Let me minimize this and minimize that. Let me bring up the power rankings.
So we'll post the power rankings and then we'll ask the comments how y'all feel about it. Because Brian not here to defend himself, so I don't know who has what.
Here are the power rankings, right? And I think it pretty much makes sense. Overall, I agree with it. I think the only thing that I would comment on is that we shouldn't have the Brahmas at 7 and the Showboats at 8. It should be the Brahmas and the Showboats both at 8.
I think he put that there because we played better.
We did. We did
against a better team as well. So
yeah, we did. But I still think, again, kind of like your theory, make me pick you. I think we should have both of them just at 8 because you don't know. We're consistently inconsistent.
8A and 8B.
Yeah, 8A and 8B. But everything else, I think, is pretty kind of solid across the board. If you guys want to comment on how wrong we got it on the power rankings, we'd love to see what your comments are. But it's not really going to, change too terribly much. Because remember, power rankings are based on how you did the previous week. That's it. It has nothing to do with the rest of the season. Strength of opponent plays into it a little bit. But it's how did you do that specific week and where you land. See? And I knew it was coming.
Yeah. A Battlehawks fan, of course. They always mad. They bitter.
John isn't necessarily a Battlehawks fan. He's
a Brahmas hater.
Well, he's not a Brahmas hater, that's for sure. Right? He has supported us. He's kind of like a Brahma Hawk, I guess, if you will. He kind of supports both teams. And I respect that. And I'm not, dang it, I should have caught that comment before I posted it. Yeah, again, power rankings are based on how the teams did the week before against the opponent they were playing that week, right? So that's kind of where we stand with the power rankings this week. And I'm sure, that hopefully there'll be a big mix up next week and we can just throw things all up there. Now, back to the season tickets, because this is important, right? For the season ticket members, there's an event this Thursday, and I'm trying to find it so I can, let's see if I can share this, because I'm, as technologically as advanced as I am. For season ticket members, we've got an event going on at the Lion and the Rose for season ticket renewals for the 2026 season. If you're a season ticket holder and you're ready to renew, go to this event, sign up. In our season ticket reps email, there is a giveaway for the first 100 renewals. Now, I will let you know that our season ticket rep has already been flooded by us with requests to renew. So if you're going to renew, which I highly encourage you to renew because I'm, new year, new season, right? Everything is in flux until we actually start playing the game. John, I'll make that happen for you. Okay? You just hang on. I'll get you a hat. You get me a rally towel because that's the only one I don't have. And I need to, get that for the wall. So
yeah, I need one too.
Okay. 2 rally towels. I'll get you a hat. I think that's about a fair trade-off. But I'll message you privately, John. Yeah. But again, season ticket event. Okay. Oh, and look at this, right? We're the only ones that are getting ahead of tomorrow's announcements. So everybody else is kind of stuck until whenever they can get theirs. We're putting our announcements out now. We're pushing the season ticket drive right now. Okay. So if you're ready to go, make sure you go to this event, renew your season tickets. Again, in the season ticket email, there is a special prize for the first 100 people that renew their season tickets. So, if you want some free stuff to go along with your season tickets, make sure you make it out here to Lion and Rose. Sign up for those season tickets. Let's rally together as a team, as a city. Let's get behind this team, renew our season tickets, and be ready for an incredible season next year. Because I'm telling you, for some of these guys, the way this season has gone has been personal, and they're going to be coming back with a renewed vigor and a renewed fire. We thought that they were going to come back with some swagger this year, and things did not go well. Nobody wants to come back after having won a championship the year before and have the season that they did this year. So they're going to be coming back with a hunger and a fire and a drive to absolutely dominate the UFL, both sides of the house, USFL and XFL. So I'm telling you, mark it down now. Be ready for it. I put my $100 down on the Brahmas to go all the way this season. You guys know I got inked for it. I'm gonna do it again. I'm not gonna get inked again, right? You can only get one tattoo of the same thing. But I'm gonna be putting another 100 down next season because I truly believe this team is gonna go all the way, and we're gonna take some heads off along the way. Now, John's last comment, right? Do it through your season ticket rep directly. It helps them out. It helps the league out also, but it helps out your season ticket reps. And if you know your season ticket rep like we know ours, and we know John, and we know a lot of the guys there, that's a personal connection. You know who you're helping out. So make sure you're helping your season ticket rep out. In addition to helping yourself to some of the most incredible football you're going to see in the UFL next year from your San Antonio Brahmas. So that being the case, let me go ahead and stop sharing here. We kind of already know what we're expecting against Memphis, but what are you hoping to see in this Memphis game?
A win. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
Actually, I wanted to look identical to DC. If we play like we played against DC, we should win this game by a large margin. Um, they're not a good team. I mean, we also isn't a good we also not a good team either. But we showed flashes last game, and it was against a good team. So
Yeah.
if we play like we play against a good team against this bad team, maybe we should win by a large margin. That's large margin. That's my hope.
I,
Um,
I would I would hope. I don't even necessarily care about a large margin. Let's go out and execute on both sides of the ball. Let's get the win, whether it's 1 point or 100 points. I don't care. Let's go out and show that we can handle our business. Okay.
DC fan was at the
Um,
game. I'm sure y'all enjoyed the atmosphere. I'm sure y'all loved it. I
yeah.
wonder if they traveled from DC or they from the area and came. But
Well,
it
DC
was a lot
fan.
of red over there, wasn't it? Wasn't it the away side? It was a lot of red.
Yeah, but it was all the players' families.
Oh, okay, got it, got it.
And so, yeah, me and BD, we sit in 134 right on the rail, right behind the opposing team's bench. Um, and I didn't get a chance to talk to this person's family. But we specifically had, oh, hey,
Yeah.
so they flew in from DC. Thanks for coming and joining us. Hopefully, we weren't too rowdy for you and you had yourselves a good time.
I'm from
Um,
DC, so I know that
yeah,
was. I want to
this
know
guy.
what was. Yeah, I'm from DC. Actually, I'm going back
Yeah.
soon. So yeah, man, this is my last season
You
in
better not
person.
change
For Brahma.
colors.
I'm gonna be
You bet.
wearing my Brahma stuff at the DC games, man. I'm gonna go to every
Okay.
DC games, but I'm gonna be wearing my Brahma stuff.
Oh, okay. I think I remember this person. And I'm sorry
I
you
know
had to
you.
sit
I
next
hope you
to this
wasn't heckling him.
and hear us. No, no, no. I don't heckle fans. I don't heckle fans. Um, and we actually had I think it was number 57. His family sat behind us.
Oh, what's his
So
name?
wife or girlfriend, I didn't ask.
He the one
His
that got the sack.
parents
No, he got the
and their
fumble. He
little
got the
baby.
fumble at halftime,
Yeah,
right before halftime, and returned it. I forgot his name.
he's got
Hines or something, right?
something I don't remember, but he had like the Troy Polamalu hair. Um, nice guy, pretty quiet. I apologized to his family in advance, and I told him, we're going to be loud and rowdy, but we don't attack players specifically. We don't say rude, negative things, things like that. And they were actually, oh, Mints, yeah, Mints, cool,
That's dope.
awesome. Um, but and then there was another player, uh, uh,
I'm laughing at Chris, man. Oh, Hines. See, Hines.
yeah, Hines. Okay, this guy with the Alamo basement. You always know it's coming.
Man,
Anyways, there was
I
another
said he got
player.
the bike.
Yeah, there was another player that his family was in the stands, and so we apologize to them also. But the one thing I will say that I do like about DC's team, because you know us, we're loud, we're rowdy, we're doing our thing. I made several of the. I remember the first time I comments, right, because that's what I'm kind of known for. Um, and there was one guy that we were messing with back and forth. I think his number was 5. He's one of the defensive guys. Uh, but he came over and shook our hands. And there was another player that came over and shook our hand too. But like we didn't really have an interaction with him, just us kind of razzing him a little bit. But this guy specifically, he came over and he's like, "Hey man, mad respect to you guys for representing your team, and you did it with class." And I'm like, "Well, thank you, man. That means a lot." Okay. Um, and John, I don't know if you can see this, but Donna did not receive an email. So if you can check into that, that'd be awesome. Make sure we're taking care of all of our fans. Um, but so yeah, there was one player who I absolutely miss on DC, and so for our DC fans that are watching, Mr. Bellamy, who you guys let go to another team. I think it was Houston the week after we played them. I was so looking forward to seeing him when we went to DC. I was so looking forward to seeing him in San Antonio because we've got that friendly rivalry. And every time he shows up, he remembers BD and I because we're always like this because of his one comment. And so he remembers. So I didn't get to greet him with that San Antonio hospitality that we're famous for, but we just shared it with the rest of the team. And that's the one thing we've talked about it before, but this level of connection that you can have with the players,
Yes.
right? San Antonio, we're going to give you a hard time. We're going to make it as difficult for you to play here as possible, but you're never going to see us leaning over the rails and engaging in negative contact with any of the players. Nobody's getting slapped here. Nobody's trying to cause any fights or anything like that. And when it comes time at the end of the game for the players to kind of greet their fans and stuff like that, we're going to tell them if they won, hey, great game. If they lost, we're going to say, hey, great game, and then we're going to get out of the way and let the fans do their thing, right? Because we want to encourage that kind of connection between the fans and the players of whatever squad it is, right? The kids thrive on that. They get energized getting things like gloves and stuff like that from the players. And I will say, by the way, um, I did get my first real football souvenir a couple of weeks ago when the players did give me his gloves, and I held them next to my hand, and there was probably about that much glove
Yeah.
beyond my finger, and I'm like, I can't use these, so I
Was
gave them to
alignment.
Brahma Bro. It was I don't even remember who the hell it was. I have to think about it. But yeah, the glove was so huge. It was like, what am I going to do with this? Right? It's like when you were a kid, you're putting on your dad's work gloves or something like that. It was just horrible, man. So I was like, nah, I my hands are small enough as it is. I don't need the reminder. So, but anyways, that being the case, guys, make sure you come on down to the Alamo Dome. Come check out this game. It's important to the team. It's important to the city. It's important to your season ticket reps. Make sure you go to the season ticket renewal thing. Uh, right here. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome. Okay, that's the
Damn,
kind
I
of
wanted a
the.
car.
Well, you're not a kid. You're not a kid. So
Dang.
I'll buy you a pack of cards, okay? Just to even it out. But that's the kind of connection that we're looking for. Fans, connecting with other fans, fans connecting with the team and the players, right? Sharing cards, like our friends, the Predator couple or Rig Rockers, or stuff like Brahma Babe and Brahma Bro, making time to connect with everybody, right? That's why this league is so important. That's why we need to make sure that we're doing our part to support it. So,
Hey,
uh,
what's that, Chris? Hold them for me, man. I'll meet up with you in DC next month.
yep, there you go, next month. And which which Packers cards? Because the only Packer that I know of is
Brett Favre.
what's his name, the tight end for Birmingham, and you can have those cards.
Oh,
So
Steinberger, Jay Steinberger.
yeah, Jason. Oh, I hate that dude.
Yeah,
Look,
he
there you
nice
go.
though.
Look, you already made a friend, and you got
There you
cards.
go. There you go.
So there you
There
go.
you go.
So all right, that being the case, guys. First of all, thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you watching, especially with it being the DJ and J show. Um,
We held it down.
we held it down fairly well. Um, and I appreciate all you guys tuning in and watching from across the league, right? Because again, it's all about supporting the league. We also want to. You can have them, Chris. You can have them, and I've got a championship story to go along with it and to tell you why. But we'll talk about that off air. Anyways, also want to give a big shout out to Mike G and the AFN Network. Thank you guys for all the support and everything you've done for us. Guys, if you like the show, this QR code right up here, make sure you check it out. That's a link to our merchandise that we have in our merchandise store. And it's not just Texans Talk, it's not just Horns Forward podcast stuff. There's also some Texans Talk and football stuff there, our show that BD and I do on Tuesdays, which we won't be doing this Tuesday because BD thinks it's, so important for him to act like he's, a manager and working and whatever. So he's doing some kind of work thing, supposedly. Excuses, right? But there's
Boss
also
said
some
we
really
killing it
important
tonight.
merchandise in there. Also, there's the veteran support line. Uh, DJ has talked about that several times, but we have some merchandise that goes to support. Was it Project 22? I think it is.
Mission 22.
Mission 22. Okay. Definitely do some research on that, but this is important because a part of the proceeds go to Mission 22, which is a veteran suicide prevention program.
There you go.
Every 22 seconds there's a veteran that's committing suicide because
Yep.
of the stresses of being in the military. That shouldn't be the case, right? These guys, these men and women of the armed forces are laying their lives on the line every single day, whether they're, potentially could get called to action or not. They're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for us. So we need to make some sacrifices for them. So make sure you check that out. Scan that QR code. It takes you to the store. You can check out all the links there, or all the merchandise there, rather. And great stuff. The Vamos Brahmas podcast on Wednesday nights should be going down this Wednesday. Make sure you check that out also. It is a Spanish broadcast. So if you know Spanish, excellent. Tune in, check it out. Javo and Jorge hold it down really well. If you don't know Spanish, but you're working on learning, this is a great opportunity also. They're going to throw out some words that Duolingo doesn't teach you, but you'll learn it in context. And it's an excellent opportunity to interact with those guys. But in the meantime, I think that's it for tonight. Guys, make sure you're at the game. DJ, you got anything else before we sign off?
Vamos Brahmas.
Vamos promise. We'll see you guys at the season ticket event on Thursday and then the game on Friday. All right.